I'm Simon Piper, VP of Sales and Client Success for Sky and EMEA. We're outside the Duchess pub in Hammersmith and here to see Diane de la Baronniere from Haleon, Global E-commerce Director for Media. Hope you enjoy the session. Welcome, Diane. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you, Simon, for inviting me.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Thank you.
So, for all of our viewers, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role.
Yes, so I'm Diane. I'm the Global E-commerce Media Director for Haleon. I've been in that role for a little bit over a year now. I've joined in September last year. And Haleon is the home of very famous brands such as like Sensodyne, Centrum, Voltaren, Panadol, Advil, just to name a few. And it has spinned off from GSK in July last year. So now we are like one of the leaders in the global consumer healthcare, providing health with humanity. So regarding my role, I'm actually helping our markets to develop their retail media capabilities and making sure that from a global perspective, we are accelerating the use of the digital commerce media as part of our media mix. Yep. So it's all about helping the markets, building out strategies and like trying to help them implement them, test and learn obviously a lot, sharing knowledge, best practices, upskilling and capabilities of the different teams across the local market as well. And I'm working with two very strong partners agencies on a daily basis to make it happen.
Got it. So before we jump into it, tell us about your peak of the week, either professionally or personally.
So personally, the kids are back to school. My two daughters are loving it, so I'm really happy. That's one core done. Honestly, that's a relief. From a professional perspective, it's great as well because since we've been back into the office and like after the summer break, a few projects like moved along very swiftly and. So yeah, it's a great thing, and I think we will be able to develop new ones for Q4 and hopefully land them in Q1 next year from a retail media perspective, from DCOM in general. So I'm really happy with that. So I can't say more right now, but that's it.
Great, I love it. So tell me a little bit about this pub. What's so special about it? Why did you choose it?
So this pub is near a park in Ravenscourt Park, where I go quite often with my kids, my daughters. It's very close to where I live in Shepherd's Bush, and I quite like the beer garden. So it's a really nice outdoor space.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I saw you posted on LinkedIn a couple of months ago around retail media, shoppable media, and social commerce. Confusing, right? And you're definitely not wrong. I'd love to understand how Haleon structures itself around all of the different retail media channels and types that are available to you.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mess outside.
Yeah.
So in Haleon, my team and my role, we are into the media team.
Yeah.
So we are making sure that digital commerce media is included within the whole media mix, and it's not just getting the leftovers and like the last mile of the budget, but it's getting its fair share and making sure that we are leveraging as much as possible retail media capabilities when it comes to retailers' audiences, different media, a combination of media, obviously programmatic, DSP. Yep. It's also about leveraging the full funnel, making sure that DCOM media is as part of the funnel, but not just only for the lower funnel part. It's also very interesting nowadays to build like DCOM media within the wider like full funnel and upper funnel part of things as well. And I say we, I mean, to be fair, I'm mostly helping the market to make it happen. Is the markets and the local teams are really doing the heavy lifting and the work. It really takes a village to get things done. I'm just trying to build tools for them to have the opportunities to deliver stronger and more efficient and effective media plans. And not just choosing the cheapest option. Yeah, so as part of my role as well, it's also making sure that the market are adopting a new thinking and process and new ways of working. The objective is really about having a top-down approach where basically you have the objectives set up very clearly, and then you choose the media that are answering those needs and that will help you to reach those objectives.
Yep.
Versus building up the other way around, where we choose the media and then we are trying to retrofit where you can your actual objectives. So it's bringing tools and ways of working and ways of thinking to help the market being more efficient and effective.
Got it. So governance, efficiency, and planning to sum up.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, makes perfect sense. So we know the European retail media market is incredibly fragmented. I think there was a recent IAB stat that showed over 50 retailers have launched their own marketplaces or networks in the region over the last 2 years. I'd love to understand a little bit more around Haleon and just to think global, but then also takes account of all the local market nuances and the different KPIs and goals that each region necessarily has.
It's very interesting. I'm always referring to the HSBC very old campaign, which is about think global and act local. I'm working with 14 different regions and so many more markets at lower level.
Yep.
And I'm not pretending to develop their media plans or interfere in it. I'm just really literally building up guidelines so they can navigate within the whole retail media landscape, which is evolving on a daily basis. You potentially read the news about crypto yesterday as well, and the new development. So it's about giving them the right tools to understand and build and see what they can do out of the new development all the agencies are working on. And then on my side, I'm working on 3 different pillars. So the first one is about evolving, so making sure the tools that we currently have are up to speed and answering the needs for our different teams.
Yep.
The other pillar is about educating. It's making sure the different teams are there is obviously turnover and teams are changing, all up to speed in terms of skills, understanding retail media, how to interpret KPIs and how to work in that environment. And then the last one is about elevating. So is trying to give retail media within our organization visibility and making sure, as I mentioned earlier, retail media is getting its fair share out of the media mix budget.
Yep.
So I've built a retail media strategy on how to approach it, and I've developed it with different markets and trying to implement it in the different regions. So it's based on those 3 pillars. Obviously, it's not one size fits all, neither a tailor-made approach for everyone, but we have within our different market, nascent or more mature, different approach within our programs that are helping them at different levels.
It's a vast remit and
yes, it is.
ecosystem to keep on top of, and it keeps changing too.
Yes, and to be fair, that's the exciting part, is that it keeps changing, and there is not a single week where there isn't any changes or any news happening in that
Big
environment. Yes, exactly.
We know it well.
Yeah, I bet.
So we run our State of Retail Media survey every single year, and consistently our customers and the people that are filling that survey out report back to us that ROAS is their primary target or KPI within the retail media space. Do you agree? And what other KPIs might you use to judge retail media success?
I'm surprised actually that so many people answer ROAS. To be fair, I have a very strong opinion about this, and the whole team around me knows that.
Yep.
So I feel that ROAS is a little bit overused, and it's a jack of all trade and master of none, to be fair.
Yep.
It's overused when it comes to the wider business. It's overused when it comes to analysis campaigns. It's overused when we are looking at media performances and everything. It's everywhere, but it doesn't mean anything. I feel like ROAS is a good cover-up or it's a good KPI, but it's not the best one.
It's a proxy.
Yeah, it's a proxy, but the challenge is sometimes we judge a campaign just by a ROAS number, where actually we need to look a bit more into detail about this. First, because ROAS is most of the time it should be only a KPI for the lower part funnel. So any campaign that we're doing upper funnel ultimately shouldn't be measured against ROAS.
Yep.
Secondly, I think ROAS, you can have a ROAS of 10, which looks good, but ultimately if you advertise into your own shoppers, you're not growing your category, you're not growing your shopper database, you're not growing anything. So my favorite KPI against ROAS is what Amazon calls new to brand, which is anything related to incrementality. It's not obviously the easiest one to track because on Amazon it's actually given, it's not for every advertised campaigns, but it gives you a good trend of where you're going. For many other retailers, that kind of data, you need to ask for it, or you need to do measurement yourself to understand what is the incrementality of that campaign versus another. You need to have controlled area, etc. It's a bit of a challenge and sometimes a faff, if I can say so, to actually get to that number. But ultimately, if you're growing yourself, you're also growing the category, and you grow your lifetime value shoppers, because hopefully any new shoppers that you're bringing into your brand, it's much easier than to reconvert versus like trying to convert like competitors' shoppers. So yes, ROAS everywhere, but it's not what I'm sort of proning for. I'm really not for that.
No, got it. It's way too prevalent in the market. Everyone's been talking about incrementality in retail media for the last 18 months or so, but we've really seen a huge amount of solutions coming out. Obviously, Sky being part of the solution there as well. We believe very firmly that iROAS is a key metric, incremental ROAS, moving forwards, for everybody. So for this retail media series, we've done a bunch of interviews with our agency partners and tech companies in the space. But as the brand, I'd love to get your perspective on the role of both of those types of companies within the retail media ecosystem.
Yeah. I think those companies, whether that tech companies or partnership media agencies and so on, they're really helping us to make sure that we are on top of everything, obviously. Yeah. They're helping us to speed up the process of adoption. They're helping us to be more effective and efficient in the way we're working. And they also, I think, bring new perspective in how we are developing our media plans and understanding decom media. From a brand perspective, I think it's really important to adopt a hybrid model. In the past, I've experienced different options where everything was either one side, where everything was internalized, and it takes a little bit of time, if not forever, to actually develop things. And obviously, when you're selling products, even though you have a very strong either data team or development team, you're not a tech team. And then developing the tools as like Sky or any other sort of agency similar, it takes time and means and budget. So I don't think it's necessarily an opportunity to do everything internally.
Yep.
On the other way around, if you externalize everything, I feel that the actual internal teams are not able to challenge the agency or understand what is being done. They don't have KPIs knowledge, and they can't build the insights and the action themselves, which is a little bit of a challenge. And that's why I'm really trying to make sure that we are keeping on a hybrid side of things, where our team internally are strong enough to understand what is going on and not just relying on external agencies, that their KPI understanding and the action that should be taken out of any campaign results are within their hands and their ability as well.
So they know to ask the right questions.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really important. And ultimately, when you choose agencies, you need to make sure that you're building a very strong trust. You have shared vision on the project that you're working on, because otherwise you can't deliver things together. It gets very challenging. And I feel that currently, as where we are with Haleon, I've been very lucky to have very great partners to work with, and it's going well.
So, final question.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the threats that you see within the retail media space. What do you think are the big ones over the next 12 months, and what really keeps you up at night?
Oh God, on top of my daughters. I don't think there is any threat as such within our environment. I think it's too young yet to see anything collapsing.
Yep.
I think the challenge is more like a challenge rather than a threat, is coming from the fact that the retail media environment is changing so often and so fast that it's really hard for us to keep up. So that's why I was referring to the agency support ultimately earlier. It's helping us to keep up. There is always a risk for us to fall down in a trap and get lost in all this offering and not understanding where and how we should be playing.
Yeah.
And as part of the recommendation that I'm giving up to the market as well, there is something about making sure that you don't play everywhere with all the retailers on all the different media. Choose what is the relevant media for your objective, and make sure that you're doing bigger, fewer, better, rather than trying to be everywhere and all over the place, because ultimately you won't deliver anything valuable.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't think there is a massive threat as such. It's more about challenge of like that fragmentation.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that in the next 12 months, so many things will happen again. I mean, whatever we mentioned Twitter earlier, but then you have Unlimited with Carrefour and Publicis, and then you have probably Citrus announcing something in like 2 or 3 weeks. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
It'll keep getting faster. It
Exactly.
always does, right?
And at some point, it's a little bit like the quick commerce environment. It will start consolidating, obviously,
Yep.
because us as brand, there is at some point a challenge where we can't play with so many agent and media sources. We will have to be choosing the strongest one and those that are delivering the most option and giving us access to the best data and that kind of things. And ultimately, the ones that are like playing later or are like not developed as such, they will get eaten up by the biggest one.
Yeah.
So the threat is not on my side. I think it's more like on those who are not keeping up on the retail media
That's
side
really
as well.
interesting what you're saying there, right? That the visibility, the transparency, the access to the data and the technology is likely to dictate the flow of the budgets. Yeah.
Yes,
Makes sense.
it's part of the criteria that we have when we choose media.
Yep.
The retailers' capabilities are a very strong, important point when we look at the media audit. Obviously, some retailers and media are doing much better than others, and some are very lagging behind their access. You know, the data are like delivered 3 weeks after. You don't have access to real life data. But on the other hand, you feel that some retailers are really pacing up and trying to catch up with, not to mention it, but with Amazon and their leadership in the, I would say, the Western world, because in Asia it's another topic
sure.
where you have massive leaders in the retail media landscape like JD, Alibaba, or TikTok doing. It's a very interesting and exciting environment to be working with at the moment. So yeah, have a seat and watch.
So you mentioned back to school earlier.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Favorite place to go on holiday?
Seaside, but not Mediterranean. I love the Atlantic coast. So the tides, the waves, sometimes the rain. Yeah.
Okay. And then for you, favorite music?
Oh, I love Britpop.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love the one from the 90s.
Strong. I like it.
Thank you.
And so I was going to ask favorite drink, but I'm going to narrow it down. So favorite, would it be red wine, white wine, or rosé?
Ooh, tough. I would say light red wine or fruity white.
Okay.
Rosé is sometimes a challenge, so
Yeah, got it.
not so safe.
And then similar theme, camembert or brie?
Oof.
Are you allowed to choose between the two?
No.
No?
Cheese in general.
Yeah, just cheese.
Just
Okay.
cheese, all cheese.
Okay.
Any cheese. French one.
Of course. And then final question, London or Paris?
Ooh, tough.
Yeah.
Food-wise, Paris.
Yeah.
Life-wise, London. Rugby one,
Yeah.
Paris.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Simon, for having me.
Appreciate your time.